What up, everyone? Welcome back to Blade Bias. Remshi, the creator of the Kuno, who you guys, I'm sure, are very familiar with at this point, reached out to me a few days ago, and he was interested in me putting in some steel washers to kind of beta test how the Kuno would feel on them. And that got me thinking. Speaking of the Kuno and speaking of, like, how it feels, I promised you guys an update way back when I got this thing. I remember saying, like, something along the lines of, oh, I'll bring it at Blade Show and give you guys an update to see how it held up. Because obviously it's going through the hands of so many different people and it's getting dropped and all this. So, like, how did it survive Blade Show? Because, as we know, titanium on titanium, I still get comments to this day of people being like, oh, that's not going to hold up. The handle gap is going to disappear in seconds. And I'm proud to announce that it hasn't. I mean, you can compare when I originally got it, if you want to go back to the video. But from what I can tell, this is pretty much, maybe not exactly, but this is pretty much how it looked, handle gap-wise, when I got it. There's no noticeable marks on the tang, and no noticeable marks in where the Zen pids would be, other than just, like, surface scuffing from them, the two surfaces hitting, which is completely normal and expected. But, like, this thing held up phenomenally. There was a part where it had a little tap and I had to fix it, and I stripped a screw, but I had extra screws, so I put it back in, and now it's fine. I mean, right now the tolerances are less precise than I would really like them to be, but again, this is a prototype. I can't complain too much about that. And I mean, the production is only going to get better for the Kuno, because Remshi recently announced who is going to be producing the Kuno, and that is none other than Machine-Wise Dalen himself, which will be doing the production of the Kuno, which is like, that is just insane. The fact that Dalen, one of the most renowned machinists in the community for creating things that are just quite literally perfect on a machining, tuning, building level. And I know Dalen has a team now. When I say Dalen, just in your head, autocorrect to the Machine-Wise team. I'm just way too used to it being Dalen and then Bally Socks, the guy who does the anos and the tuning and QC for him. I understand there's a team there. It's going to take my brain a little bit to switch over to saying Machine-Wise rather than just Dalen. So, but Machine-Wise producing the prototypes, or sorry, not the prototypes, the production run, I can only imagine that the overall fit and finish is going to just improve ever so slightly. Because, I mean, this is a prototype, so you would expect that would happen anyway from tolerances and stuff like that. But now it's just like, I really expect the production runs to be pretty good. Maybe not perfect, I don't know. I don't know if Dalen, or Machine-Wise does, different production stuff for outsourced parts or anything. I don't know. But I have a lot of faith that the Kuno is going to be pretty good design when it comes out. I know that he did a lotto for the first one a few months ago at this point, I want to say. Months, weeks, whatever, and it went pretty well. There were a lot of people interested, but the Kuno's been holding up very, very well. I guess I kind of lost sight of what this video was initially supposed to be about. The Kuno's holding up excellently. It has taken Blade Show, people dropping it. There's no breaking, there's no bending. I know some people were a bit concerned about how skeletonized it is, but it's holding up just fine. There's a little flex here, but that's kind of expected with how thin that the titanium slabs are, and there's no support down the middle, so I don't expect that. Titanium is going to flex, even if I grab my Sliff T, probably one of the most durable titanium ballast songs I have, and I squeeze it. You can see that the handles still come together because titanium flexes, so I am not too concerned about that. But to say that this held up better than I expected would be a little bit of an understatement. I'll be completely honest in saying that I did sort of expect to see some difference. Besides the obvious, finish scuffs on the outside from the drops that I've done onto rocks and concrete and the drops that people did onto the Blade Show floor. I was expecting to see, just something. maybe it started tapping, or maybe the handle gap had decreased a little bit, but no, it like held up perfectly. And I mean, I guess to say that that could have happened would have been me not trusting Remshi, but this is like this is a newer idea. You gotta have some appropriate skepticism towards new designs like this, I think. Appropriate skepticism. I'm not saying you gotta hate everything that's new, but you know what I mean. But yeah, the Kuno has been holding up great. In fact, if anything, I only seem to like it more now. It only grows on me as the Squiddy syndrome of flipping something that is so much longer than anything else in my collection goes away, because that was my number one complaint with the... Dang, the Impusa is fun. That was my number one complaint with the Kuno, was that it just makes everything else in your collection feel itty-bitty and small and just kind of weird. But now that I've gotten used to it, it's kind of like plastic. It's like some people get used to plastic and then they can flip back and forth between them perfectly. And that's how this has been. I've been able to flip back and forth perfectly fine. I've really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed learning tricks on this because of all the weight at the end of the handles. It's like better just to learn tricks, because you get a little bit more of that handle bias for rollovers and stuff like that. And the length of it helps you just kind of control it a little better. I know that might sound backwards, and maybe it's not even because of the length, but I feel like I have a little bit more control over this than some of my other ballast songs. Specifically the Nemesis. The Nemesis is a bit shorter than most other ballast songs, and I just feel like I can't control it as well as I could other ballast songs. But yeah. So the Kuno has held up great. I like it. Think it's pretty good. It's a fun addition to a collection. I don't think this could ever be my main flipper. Maybe it could. I don't know. But super fun. Keep an eye out for these, because I believe now that Remshi announced who's machining them, we should be close to at least seeing like a production run of them or something. I'm not going to speak for Remshi, so go follow him on Instagram to get all the updates there. But yeah, it's like, this is like 2 months in. I think I got this back in May. It's now July. Held up great. Still sounds amazing. Still sounds amazing. Still looks very nice. And still is holding up really well. It's a very elegant flipper, I think, once you get past the weirdness of it. And I guess I should talk about what people thought about it at Blade Show. Most people liked it. The people that didn't like it had a problem with its weight and its length, which is understandable. But not too many major complaints about how it flips or anything like that. I think the one complaint I remember was like it didn't have too much grip, which... I mean, fair. Grip at the end. I feel like grip is a subjective thing on ballast songs. I don't even think it's objective anymore. Because, like, I think this thing has amazing grip and a ton of control, but some people think it doesn't. So, like, okay, that's perfectly fair. But yeah, just a lot of people thinking, like, oh, it's weird, but it's cool, and it's just really interesting to flip. And I think for someone like Remshi, that's exactly what you want to hear, especially when you are going for something different. So... not too many major complaints about the flippability of it. I think you guys are going to really like it. So that's the Kuno. Survived Blade Show. Survived me beating it. And it will be getting a full channel review. I'm just not sure when. I have a little B-roll of it filmed, but I don't have a script or anything. And I would like to film some more focused B-roll once I do film or write a script. But that's in the future, and this is right now. And right now is the end of this video. So thank you all for watching. And I will see you all in, I don't know what I just did, the next one later.